good people, welcome back to another video. Now in today's video we're going to be getting some more work on the Golf Estate done. From the last vlog, as you may know, we have the exhaust fitted and it sounds fantastic. However people, the car is absolutely ditched. It's been playing on my head ever since I had the exhaust fitted. Today, the first thing before we do any progress on the car is we're going to give it a clean. That is much better. However, I may have caused myself an issue due to laziness. So as you can tell, they have been washed and they've now pitted because they've had dirt sat on them. So, tip to anybody, if you have polished wheels, clean them because they look like this. Oh, for God's sake. In the future I may look into getting these diamond cut because once they're lacquered, then the chances of them pitting are very low compared to exposed aluminium. Well, despite the wheel not going to plan, I like to draw some positives of today. And I had a go at doing the exhaust, and this one looks beautiful. It's come out really well. Obviously that's what it was like before. I'm using, I think it's a 240 grit. And then we used Auto Salt aluminium polish, even though it's probably stainless, and then we used just kind of like a focus then, like a weird wall drill attachment, and then just literally went crazy with it. Looks so much better. I think I'm now at that age where stuff like this really excites me. I'm at that age where literally the smallest things make a massive difference. But honestly, at the back of the car, once you're seeing that driving, the difference is so much better. And I think it will make the exhaust stick out even more. Not literally, but as in stand out on the back end of the car. In terms of the wheels, I'm doing a post. So if this vlog comes out and I haven't found anyone, if there is anybody that can do wheel refurbishment / diamond cutting, who can repair the flat spots on these wheels, and I can work out a little bit of a deal on some trimming work, message me in the link in the description. And if you've got some Golf Recaros Mark 3s, we can do you a very nice deal on some custom ones and even get them fitted for you. I can already pre-make them and then we'll sort something out, but yeah, let me know. Really happy with that. People, it is now the next day. We're going to crack on with some more progress. I think the first thing, we're just going to work our way straight down the list. So the first one is the rear seat net. Now I bought this a very long time ago. It was the time I bought that headliner, and it was one of those things, was while it was there, he kind of offered it to a good price, and I ended up buying it. What it is a rear seat net, so that goes behind the rear seat. I've seen how it all mounts, and it's a genuine VW part. Genuine VW part number 1998, 1H, so it is still a Golf Mark III part number. We're going to put that in today just to kind of see what it looks like. If it looks crap, we'll take it out. A lot of you guys would have seen that I had a very big rear parts collection. Half of it wasn't even fit in this car. We have still got a few spoilers left, so if anybody is still interested, we've got a Votex, third brake light, a GTI, a Novell, they're all Golf. Then in there is a Leicester Golf, and then this one's a Leicester Vento. This one I'm keeping because that's going to be for this, and then that's an MS Design, that will be for sale as well. Under here, this is a early Mark III Estate heck blend. It just kind of fits where the tailgate does, and that's where obviously the tailgate handle sits. Now if you have got a later one, it won't fit because the handle just kind of curves over a bit, so it doesn't really sit right. We've also got some Votex roof bars up for grabs. In terms of the grills, I'll probably keep them. The Mystic Blue 3 slats I'll probably get rid of because they're not really any use to me. And then just kind of back here, I've just got some rear lights and other stuff. Front lights I'm keeping. I've got the heliquads and the Morettes, and then we've got the custom all clear lenses. Again, I'll just keep them because I can kind of chop and change with this car as I wish. Now let's crack on getting this rear seat piece in, and we'll check in with you in a minute. So I think I'm going to have to resort to Facebook because it's a very strange arrangement. You can't really figure out how it goes. So this piece you would assume would go in there. Now I know that's the hole for the actual roof rail, but I would have thought they'd utilise an existing hole rather than make you have to modify it. If you go to that side, it goes in, but that side doesn't. It's like too short. So I've just asked Facebook. I need a bunch of other parts for it to work. So honestly, I have no idea what I'm going to do with it because it's literally useless to me right now. So we're just going to go to the next thing on the list, which is a Dizzy and a rotor. Nice Bosch one, and then the rotor is just in this little box. Now, when this car was put off the road, when I had the convertible, this was left outside, and there was a lot of condensation inside the engine bay. And then one day I drove up to Ben's house, it started misfiring and started running really bad. So I pulled the HT leads out, and there was a lot of corrosion on them. Obviously because the engine bay's been sat and it's been kind of had a lot of moisture in it, things have just started to rust. So I swapped out the HT leads, and then I noticed on the distributor where it actually clips in, there's a lot of surface rust there. So I just thought I'd order a new one anyway and then put it on just so I don't really have any issues in the future. So the distributor is right here, and then what I meant by the metal kind of corroding is you can see it a little bit here. That's the kind of telltale sign. There's a lot of blue kind of rust. So I just thought it'd just be good practice to swap it out. It's probably seen many rotations and it might be on its way out. So alright, so first thing, I'm going to unplug this connector just here. Careful not to break any wires. Set off to the side. just had the car idling for a couple of minutes to make sure everything's okay. Runs as well as it did before. Just remembered I've got another job to do, which is replacing this breather. As you can see, there is a split. Now this provides vacuum to the brake servo. So vacuum line is in. I like to leave the old one in so I know where to route it. So it goes behind all this and then into this cage, and then it's connected to the line here and then into the inlet manifold. That's okay. The blank is now on. With the old one it was actually split at the top, so that was probably losing a bit of vacuum there. And then go into the servo side, which you can't see a damn thing. There we go. That's now clipped in. That was quite awkward to get out, but looking pretty decent. That's another thing solved. Taking the inlet pipe off did really help, because obviously you need your hands kind of in this section here. So excellent. I've just worked the brake pedal a little bit. That will tell me if there's any leaks in the actual breather that I've just put in. And it seems okay. Obviously if you're constantly stabbing the brakes, it's going to fluctuate the revs a little bit. It's an old design, it's an old car. But we fixed that, I think, pretty much in the engine bay. I think we're all finished. Right, next thing is the door pin lock. So yeah, I think when we was getting the exhaust fitted, this whole door actually froze closed, and I was kind of trying to pull it open and whatnot, and I think I broke it somehow. So we're just going to quickly switch it over, and that's the new one. Now this, out of all the things that I've done this morning, has been the hardest thing to fit. Believe it or not, because that wasn't a direct fit. It was kind of stopping all the way up here, so I ended up having to drill the hole out a bit and then kind of keep on twisting it. So it's kind of matching this one now. I think this one's slightly higher, but honestly, I honestly do not care. Here we go. Okay people, good afternoon. It is the 26th of December. Hopefully everyone had a really good Christmas. I did. I had a very good time. I've caught an illness, so I don't feel great. But I'm still dedicated to get some content out for you guys. I'm going to be working on the heat shield. I've just had a look under the car, and I've noticed that these little clips that hold the heat shields in, one of them, what the rattling noise isn't the heat shield on the exhaust, it's actually that. It's actually one of these clips kind of vibrating in its man. So we're going to replace that now. And then that's another thing ticked off the list. Hopefully I don't throw everything everywhere. Hopefully it goes well, and these do fit, because these look a little bit different. So we're going to get everything set up and then kind of see if that works. Right, so next job I'm going to be doing the brake pipe bracket. If we come to the offside front, it's going to be difficult to see, but this brake pipe here goes around to the back of the strut and then it's held in by a bracket. Let's see if I can get some good light in. Just in the distance there, it's cable tied. When I was fitting the coilovers on this many a time ago, I was doing that up and it snapped. I have a new bracket, well, a used bracket, and this one isn't stripped. The threads inside are all okay, and I put a new bolt on as well. There we go, so the new bracket is now on and fully secure, all bolted in, and then I just put a little bit of WD to help slide the little bracket on. Now everything is okay on this side. Let's move on to the next job. Do you know what? I feel very productive. Do you know when you're ticking off things off the list, it makes you feel so much better, and it actually motivates you to do more work on the car. Which brings us on to the next thing to do. It's not on that list, but I thought I may as well do it now, is do a coolant flush. Probably a year or two ago, this whole system was evident to have just been filled up with water, because it was all rusty water and it didn't really look like it was pink or it would use any form of coolant. I presume it's had some form of leak in its life and it's just kind of topped up with water. Roughly about a year ago, I put in a new coolant bottle, did a water pump and thermostat at the same time. When I did the coolant change, everything went okay. Now I'm starting to see the coolant discolour. There's a little bit of rust inside, which is not very great, but it's because they've ran it with water for so long, it's kind of made the insides a bit rusty. I was going to save this job until I put a radiator in. However, I feel like this is going to need quite a lot of coolant changes to kind of get all the rust out. So we're just going to do it now. So we're going to take the splitter off again. Then we're going to pop off the bottom coolant hose. Right, so I've had the car running for quite a bit. The temperature is now at just up to temperature almost. Focus, there we go. I've had the car idling for a while now, just kind of letting it get up to temperature. Don't seem to be any issues so far. For some reason, it's still rattling. When I push up on it, there's no noise. Car is just kind of bleeding itself. I've got heat now, I'm just waiting for the thermostat to open, so then further top up the fluids. The reason for the fire extinguisher, the last time we did a coolant change on this car, we did actually accidentally set on fire. Yeah, so obviously coolant gets everywhere and you can't just wipe it away, it leaves like a greasy residue. So I got some brake cleaner, cleaned all the engine bay down, everything was okay. Started the car and I just seen the whole engine bay catch fire, just the whole thing. Luckily I had a fire extinguisher with me, because I did see a post about an S3 that was on fire at a car show. Since then I've always carried a fire extinguisher, and if it had not been for that S3 post, that engine bay wiring probably would have melted, because I wouldn't have had anything to put it out with. It was all going too well for me, because we go into the car, it no longer starts, which is strange, because earlier I had it running up to temperature, everything's okay, just turn it off, and then I just tied it up. That's literally it. And I've gone to start it again to bring it into the garage, and it's just cranking. I've just plugged it in. First 2 times was not communicating with the ECU at all. And a very weird thing is, I've lost my coolant temp. Fuel gauge is all okay. Honestly, I have no idea what's happened. Anyway, I've got some fault codes. We have camshaft position sensor, coolant temp sensor. Let's delete them. Let's delete the fault codes. Engine ignition on engine stopped, yes. Flare done, okay. I don't like that. Why are you not starting? Try once more. Starts. Don't really fill you with confidence, does it, when it does that? I don't understand. I may have pushed the connector like in to double check it's secure. Try again. Starts up. And I think my coolant temp's moved now. Or has it? I don't think it has. Strange. Very strange. That was literally up to temperature not long ago. Probably barely, God, zoom out. Barely 15 minutes ago. Oh, here we go, it's creeping up now. I have no idea what's going on. Unless the thermostat is sticking. This is why I can't be asked to work on this car, because I go through a patch of motivation, I get things done and I get really happy about it, and then it does something stupid and I can't be asked. What I did notice, coming to the front, this top coolant hose was still cold here. Yeah, it's not fully warm yet, which means that this side is probably why the coolant temp sensor has dropped in temperature so quick, is because it's not got any coolant in this line. Honestly, I've got no idea what's going on. My God. Oh, it's going too well for me. Anyway, I'm going to reverse the car back in, because I don't want anything else to go wrong. And then at least, if there's something wrong with it, I can tackle it while it's in the garage and I can still lock the door. So I've decided to fast forward many hours of footage, because we've been trying to plug the car in, clear the fault, move the distributor, try and figure out how to get the fault off. It's such a strange fault, because what we've found is I moved it all the way to the left, cleared the faults, didn't come back on, started the car, turned it off, fault didn't come back on, started the car, turned it off, then it came back again. And so I think I'm chasing an intermittent fault, and if I'm honest, I'm just going to send it. The car runs fine, I don't push it past 5k anyway, and that fault has probably been on that car since I've had it, and the fuel economy is fine. Maybe at some point I'll end up fixing it, but at the minute it doesn't matter. I'm not going to spin all those positives about getting all the other stuff on the car done by one small little fault that really will become irrelevant at some point. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe for more content, and go back to the last week's vlog because I'm so proud of the seats we retrimmed. So it'd be massively appreciated if you guys can support the channel and just give it a like and comment Recaro or whatever. But we'll see you next week for another upload. Beep.